Shout out to Chris with the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate it. So the first thing we're going to start off with on this stream, fresh off the heels of the release of Xdefiant, that was Ubisoft's long-awaited Call of Duty competitor. It finally released fully yesterday. It's actually doing really well, at least on Twitch, so I would imagine that it's probably doing real in the real world as well. Right before I started streaming, it had 100,000 concurrent viewers. So that means there's some genuine excitement around it. I see people talking about it on the timeline. And I guess Call of Duty sees it too, because they pulled a Meet the Grams and they are trying to stomp any momentum Xdefiant has. What's the name? Some details on Black Ops 6, the first little bit, have come out. This leaked image from the cover looks obviously like Black Ops. It's blurred out, so who knows when we'll get the first version, but that's like a leaked version of a remake of it. And then we also got this image. They're further teasing it. It's Mount Rushmore with all the presidents who have masks on their face that say "the truth lies." I don't know what the fuck that is. But if I had to take a wild, educated guess here, they're trying to insinuate there's some type of government conspiracy going on. Ever since Vietnam, the government's been lying to us. And we're gonna get down to what's really going on in Capitol Hill. And if I had to take an educated guess, I think that Black Ops 6 will be about draining the swamp. You know what I'm saying? So we got that image as well. They're getting some teasers. And then also we got a live action trailer teaser. The first teaser for Black Ops 6 is here. Let's watch it together. Let me turn this music. It's been the Templars the whole time. I mean, that would be factually correct. Yo, shout out to Black Math Nerd with the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate you.
This should wake him up.
This fucking YouTube fan movie. Shout out to Escorns with the sub. Yeah, this Blair Witch Project ass trailer. That did nothing for me. I'm not gonna lie. If they were trying to kill Xdefiant's momentum, this didn't do it for me. That did absolutely nothing for me. This man say, cue the Eminem music. Yeah, what's the over under, chat? Let's talk about that, because that trailer was boring and whack as fuck. What's the over under on an Eminem song appearing in the next Call of Duty trailer? That's the real conversation. And which Eminem song? I'm not afraid to take a stand. That's fucking funny. The only thing I got from this trailer is I think one of the biggest criticisms of Call of Duty has been that they've kind of lost focus in terms of, because like for those of you who are really young, the reason Call of Duty is popular, it was a narrative driven franchise. It had some of the best narrative driven military shooter stories on the market. And then the multiplayer came into play. But the beauty of what Call of Duty was during its heyday is not only during those the original Modern Warfare, not only was the gameplay from the story, not only was the story fire, but the multiplayer was fire. But somewhere along the lines, they've kind of lost their way and they're just like a multiplayer only game. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do miss when the stories were just great, because like I felt like they added more context to the multiplayer. So the one thing I will take away from this trailer is it seems like maybe there's a refocus on telling a good story. And I hope that's the case, because they're putting a lot of effort, it seems like, into teasing the story when they haven't gave a fuck about the story really in a while. So we'll see. Yeah, Soap. No Russian. We'll see when we finally get a gameplay trailer or some sort or something like that. But yeah, they are teasing it. I don't think this is going to kill Xdefiant's momentum. And that's because if anybody kills Xdefiant momentum, it's going to be Xdefiant. And the reason being, y'all like that segue? I'm a professional. And that's because people have done the math. And it would seem players have calculated that it'll take over 100 hours to rank up one weapon in Xdefiant. And then he tweets, is this a good or a bad thing? Nigga, it's bad. What the fuck? You didn't even have to like, this is one of those things where like someone's trying to be a content creator and like they're trying to do a call to action to get people to like talk. Like, you didn't have to tweet this. People were gonna respond. And it's funny that this tweet came out, this data, because hey friend, I said last night, if you were in last night's stream while I was playing Xdefiant, we were having fun. But if you saw, I only played with the AK-47. It was taking we played for like 2.5 hours. I only got like 2 attachments. I'm like, bro, this game really, I was complaining. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, yo, this game is, they really want you to play with only 1 weapon. This is fucking annoying. So just be aware, this is definitely a free to play game. You are going to have to grind. Yeah, pick a role and stick with it. Yeah. So as I say, if anybody kills Xdefiant, I think it's going to be Xdefiant. You know, it's hot right now for this week, but would it be next week or even the month? That might even be worse than and the crazy part is, from my first impressions, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of new content. From my understanding, there's a couple new maps. They added rank, but it's still mostly the same content from the beta, which makes me wonder what took them so long to release the full game if you were just going to add a couple maps and a battle pass. The game should have came out a year ago when people were really riding high on it. After not the last beta, but the beta before that, people were really riding with this game. That's when they should have released it. Fuck it. Y'all love this shit so much. It's now an open beta and we're just going to keep developing. We're going to build the plane. They should have took the route of build the plane while we're flying it. Instead, they disappeared, had a random stress test for the weekend, come back, then release the game a month later. And the servers were struggling the first half of the launch day. What was that stress test for? I was watching you play. Did you know you could edit your class mid-game? No, I didn't, but I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't have done that anyway. Because like when you're in the middle of the match, like your team needs you. You can't be sitting there playing with your weapon loadout and shit like that. It's better to do that in between matches. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We'll be playing more of this weekend, trying to... Now I'm worried about when I get footage, am I only gonna have 1 weapon when I put my video together? Skur Ritual is a COD zombie killer. Skur Ritual? What the fuck is that? That sounds demonic as fuck. What up, Sith? And bullshit ass news, but I'm gonna entertain it for the sake of the stream. Rumor going around, I've seen this tweet twice. Microsoft is preparing to offer a $16 billion offer to Valve for an acquisition. This is just a rumor that's floating around. I don't know what this is rooted in. I don't believe this at all. Well, we've seen documents leaked by the court that indeed Microsoft is targeting Valve's. Thoughts about Microsoft buying Valve? Enjoy the discussion. Here's the source, it says. And then it... this nigga... Okay, so this dude's source was a forum. So then we go to the guy who started the forum post. We click his source. It was a tweet. This tweet says, with approximately 80 billion, Microsoft is preparing to offer 16 billion for Valve, no stock, all cash. We got a community notes here. While last year there were discussions about a buyout in 2020, nothing has come of it. No credible evidence and publications have come out this year, either about Microsoft wanting to attempt to buy Valve. Like I said, yeah, y'all know I sit here and read all the latest news. I call bullshit on this until we get some real definitive evidence, which, you know, I hate to say this before we even get into this. I've been thinking about it. I didn't like it at first, but I do like a lot of the things that the changes that have been made to Twitter. And this is one of them with this community notes. Like, one of the downsides is everybody can just buy a check mark now. But now with the community notes, we can get people to shut the fuck up, bro. Do you think Splinter Cell will make another Splinter Cell? I mean, do you think Ubisoft will make another Splinter Cell? Didn't they announce they're already making one? Unless I'm bugging, like a remake or something like that. Yeah, not only do it, I think there's no merit to this article or rumor. I hope it's not true. Microsoft doesn't need to own Valve. It'll crash and burn. Valve should be its own separate thing. That would give Microsoft too much power. And to be honest, if there's anybody who doesn't need power right now, it's Microsoft. They just shut down 4 studios, only to turn around a week later and open another studio. Oh, and by the way, they just released a game that's getting mixed reviews. On top of all the stinkers that they released besides Starfield and Redfall. Microsoft is proven, and we're still mad about Scalebound. Microsoft is there's enough evidence out there to assume that Microsoft does not know how to manage the talent that they bought. All they know how to do is spend money. And this is why it's important to understand there's a difference between being a businessman and being a creative. They got the money, but do they know how to manage it correctly? But if Microsoft buys Valve, will the gaming industry be in legit trouble? I think it would be a problem. That's too much power. Like Valve is Steam. I mean, Valve is PC, which it is Steam, but it's PC. Let it be PC. What the fuck does Microsoft want Steam for? So they can put it on the Xbox? That's not going to make me want to buy an Xbox. So we can get Left 4 Dead on Xbox? That's already a thing, isn't it? Yeah, mismanagement of personnel and resources. So I hope this isn't true, because I don't see the benefit for either party. What's the benefit for Microsoft and what's the benefit for Valve? What do they gain for that? Valve has already monopolized damn near the PC marketplace. They're good. Put out Left 4 Dead 3. Put out Half-Life 3. Quit being scared. What up, Woo? Would there be some kind of Steam Game Pass merger? I couldn't see that. What would be the financial benefit of that? The reports are already coming out that Microsoft is struggling to make money with the Game Pass, and that's the reason why they haven't announced Call of Duty on the Game Pass. They're still juggling whether or not it's going to be there. And there is even rumors that if Call of Duty does come to Game Pass, they're going to raise the price. If they're already struggling to turn a profit with Game Pass now, if they go out and spend $16 billion on Valve and then also add Steam games for free for the Game Pass, that'd probably be great for the consumer. But from a business standpoint, how are they going to make any that? I'm just trying to, maybe I'm not intelligent enough. I just don't see how from a business standpoint that makes sense. You're going to go out and acquire Valve so you can get what, Team Fortress 2 on the Game Pass? Like, what are we talking about here? And that's not going to increase subscription sales. And even still, the issue with the subscription model, and this is what television companies are finding out the hard way, it's not a sustainable business model, because I can't say subscribe forever. Life is full of ebbs and flows, ups and downs. And, you know, sometimes your money is good. Sometimes your money is bad. That's why they say save for a rainy day. That way you're prepared when the rain comes, you got an umbrella. Well, when the umbrella comes, what you gonna do, you know? In this gaming space. First time catching a stream. What up, Cooper? Welcome to stream. Everyone was hyped for Fable 4. We ain't heard of it. They canceled that other Fable game. I just don't believe this shit. I don't believe it. You also hit a plateau with that business model. Yeah, because there's only so many people that are gonna subscribe. But they're not taking into account that not only is there only so many people that are going to subscribe, like I said, the ebbs and flows. There may be a month where you have to turn off the Game Pass because you can't afford it. Money's getting tight and you have to make the decision. Do I want to eat this month? Do I want to buy a loaf of bread and some cold cuts and a carton of eggs, or play Hellblade 2 for 5 hours? Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Capitalism, baby. So I don't believe this. I would take this with an extra high blood pressure dose of salt. So what's the alternative from subscriptions? Make good games and sell them. What do you mean, what's the alternative? The business model has always been there. Make better games. The issue is, I feel like these companies are way too focused on trying to turn a profit with microtransactions. If you make a good game, people will buy it. Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfect example. Elden Ring is a perfect, it's crazy when people, this is how I know that article about the 60% of you niggas don't play games. What's the solution? Make good games. Add value. Fucking, do you know I've been playing Elden Ring because I told you I've been trying to teach. Shout out to Bonsai with the sub. I've been playing Elden Ring behind the scenes, like off stream. That's the one game I do play a little bit off stream because my girl plays Elden Ring and I've been teaching her how to play like co-op, just giving her, the basics and shit like that. I played this Saturday with her. I ran into 3 bosses I'd never seen before. I have 140 hours on the game. Like, that's amazing to me that I could hop back on that game and still have fun and still learn something new. There was a whole section in that game that I missed, but she found it because she explored the game a completely different way. When you make something good, people will buy it. It may not be right up front because everybody don't necessarily have the money, but I think that's the real issue. Like, freaking, and then also people got to be open to value too. There's that part too. I understand it from the business standpoint. Because I'm naming games that are good. There are a lot of good games out there, but then a lot of people won't buy them. And then I think the thing that's weird too is a lot of people won't buy those games, and then they'll sit on the internet and complain about the lack of quality. You're gonna have to roll the dice. That's why it's important to be in tune, read the news, watch creators that are variety creators that talk about a wide variety of games. Like, you don't have to necessarily be me, it could be somebody else. You got to be in the know. You got to be in the know. Yo, shout out to Kotonic if you love games like that. Strictly for the people who love games like that. Yeah, be an informed consumer. But yeah, like the subscription thing, like everything doesn't need to be a subscription. It's just not sustainable. There's so many good indie games out there. Yeah, Sea of Stars. Yep, that's why I watch you. Hella informative. Support what you like, people. Support what you like. Also, here, I'll add one more thing before we wrap this up, because like, what's the solution? Not only should you take the time to be more informed if you care about the culture, also take the time to call the bullshit out, bro. I mean, we're starting to see it a little bit, but you know, there's a new culture of gamers out there that have taken this whole angry gamer persona to a whole nother level. All they do is sit around and shit on games. They play a role too. You got companies out here, because here's a stance that some of you might not like. Check it out, right? You're allowed to like bad games. My stance is you're allowed to like bad games so long as you understand it's a bad game. There are plenty of bad games and mid games that I like. But like, I can see there's issues with this, but despite that, I like it. And the reason I say that is you got so many creators out here that just sit around and shit on stuff. Like, if you dislike something, you're allowed to say you dislike it. It's when you start making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 video, like, goddamn, nigga, get off they dick. These people have families. Yeah, like, you're allowed to like Starfield. Just don't get mad when niggas make jokes that you like it, though. That's the thing. But like, yo, people are allowed to like bad things. And when people just sit around and just shit on stuff all the time, like, that's not helping shit either. You're allowed to like Anthem. People got to make some money somehow, some way. I love Sonic 06. That's crazy, JP. I did not know you was a Sonic nigga. That's crazy. It's mainly the FPS content creators that say there are no good games. Nah. It's most people. Remember, 60% of people play games such as Fortnite and Roblox. Most people do not play games like that, like these single player. I think gaming is more of a social experience nowadays than an escape. Well, I mean, it counts as an escape, but like, it's just as much of a social experience. I think people feel more comfortable with hopping in a Discord and playing Fortnite with the boys versus just FaceTime and a bunch of dudes. You feel what I'm saying? So like, I feel like people don't take that into consideration. But like, when they hear something about like Elden Ring, they're like, why the fuck would I want to play that? I can't talk to my boys. It's like more of a social experience. You got to understand, I was 9. Yeah, I feel that. Everything is good when you're a kid. You're right. So yeah, I think, yeah, most people are casual gamers. They just don't want to accept it. Then they get offended. You're not allowed to like Battleborn. I'm sorry. You can like it. Just understand that shit is ass. You got so many creators out here just shitting on people because they like what's considered to be bad. It was like week 2 of Suicide Squad when it had came out. People were still coming in my chat like harassing me. I'm like, yo, you don't think this behavior is weird? Like, you don't think this fucking behavior is weird? I'm just trying to finish the game. I paid for it. It's like a fucking 5, 6 out of 10 to me. It's not gonna kill me though. Other news I got for y'all. Arrowhead Games, speaking of Helldivers 2, we want to be next. They said that we want to be the next From Software or Blizzard. What the fuck does that mean? The co-op third-person shooter, the developers behind Helldivers 2, was published by PlayStation and developed by Arrowhead Games, was released in February and has gone on to sell 12 million copies in 3 months. That's pretty good. It's now PlayStation's fastest-selling game, bigger than God of War or Spider-Man or Uncharted, further reinforcing my argument that PlayStation niggas don't buy games. Thank you. Who wrote this? Shout out to Christopher Dring. Because niggas on Hokage Thoughts, my channel, make sure you subscribe to it where I upload my highlights. Niggas in the comment section get really mad. I have a very large PlayStation audience according to my demographics. And PlayStation niggas get so fucking mad when I say you niggas don't buy games. Not you in specific, but your friends who claim to be PlayStation niggas, they don't buy games. How Helldivers 2, because Helldivers 2 really didn't have a lot of, keep in mind, this game really did not have a lot of advertisement. Helldivers 2's success is because of community. The old word of mouth. God of War, Spider-Man, and Uncharted had hella advertisements on television, Super Bowl. Game of the Year nominated for 7 categories. You niggas didn't buy it. Too busy on Twitter talking about why Baldur's Gate 3 won. Well, if you played either game, you would know, but according to the analytics, you niggas don't buy games. Anyways, depending on who you are, you're always on point to different things. Says Arrowhead's chief executive, creative officer. If you're a business exec at a major publisher, you'd say it in a live service element that keeps players coming back and the cheaper price point. If you're a game designer, you'll point to the systematic nature of the game. If you're an artist, you'll talk about the day and night cycle, the destructible environments, and the beautiful world. It's the balance between all the elements. God of War and Spider-Man are worthless after the first playthrough. I would say probably Spider-Man more. If you really care about beating a game on hard or like getting all the collectibles, because I feel like getting the collectibles in Spider-Man is really easy because he swings around. Also, the map shows you where everything is. I think there's a little bit more replayability in God of War. I think most people didn't want to replay Ragnarok because the puzzles are so fucking boring. Yo, shout out to Dre Day with the sub. But specifically, personally, I would like to say it's the fact that we're doing something with Helldivers that's outside of the inflection point that the games industry is heading towards. What you're seeing through these cycles in the industry is people taking inspiration from each other and building upon that. But that means people are building towards a single point because you lose something through each iteration. With Puzzles of War, hell yeah. With Helldivers, we made the strong decision that we're not going to go with the status quo. We're going to place ourselves outside of that by making a lot of mechanics that are generally not seen in games. We have friendly fire on always. I think people are surprised that we make games this way. They're surprised at the responsibility not to blow your friends up. Then he goes on to say the success of Helldivers 2 was the realization of a dream he had since he was 8 years old. Shout out to him. Where's the I want to know about the From Software shit, bro. Helldivers 2 put me in a bit of the problem with realizing a dream. I don't care, man. Man, what the fuck? This nigga